How can you subtract fractions with unlike denominators? Think about this question during the lesson. Linda used 1/4 yard of the fabric she bought for a sewing project. How much fabric did she have left? Let's find out. What was the total amount of fabric? The total amount of fabric was 2/3 of a yard. How much fabric did Linda use? She used 1/4 yard of the fabric. What operation should you use to find how much fabric was left? You should subtract to find how much fabric was left. How do you know this is a subtraction problem? Because the problem asks how much fabric is left from the original length after some is used. How do you subtract fractions with unlike denominators? To subtract fractions with unlike denominators, change the fractions to equivalent fractions with a common denominator. Why do you need a common denominator to subtract fractions? You need to subtract like parts. If the denominators were different, you would not know how much to take away. How do you find the least common denominator for these fractions? To find the least common denominator, you must first list the multiples of 3 and 4. What are the multiples of 3 and 4? 12 is the least common multiple. How do you write the equivalent fractions with a denominator of 12? You must multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number. Why do you multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number when writing equivalent fractions? When you multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number, it is like multiplying the fraction by 1. 3 times what number equals 12? 3 times 4 equals 12. So, multiply the numerator and denominator by 4. 4 times what number equals 12? 4 times 3 equals 12. So multiply the numerator and denominator by 3. Now subtract. Simplify if necessary. Linda has 5/12 yard of fabric left. How is this problem of subtracting fractions with unlike denominators similar to adding fractions with unlike denominators? In both cases, you must find a common denominator and write an equivalent fraction. You now know how to subtract fractions with unlike denominators.